Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I have a story for you that starts with a broken computer and a simple question, but ends with something no one saw coming. His name was Daniel Cruz, 34 years old, single dad, janitor by night, freelance computer repair guy by day whenever he could get a call. Life hadn't been kind to him, but he never complained. Every morning he woke up before sunrise in his tiny two-bedroom apartment, made pancakes shaped like dinosaurs for his 7-year-old daughter Lily, tied her messy curls into something that almost looked neat, and walked her to school before catching the bus to whatever job needed him that day. Daniel used to study computer science. He was good, really good, but when Lily's mother left and the bills piled up, dreams got replaced by survival. Tuition turned into diapers. Coding projects turned into double shifts. And somewhere along the way, he stopped introducing himself as aspiring software engineer and started saying, "I fix things." One rainy Tuesday afternoon, he got a call from a high-end corporate office downtown. The kind of building with glass walls that reflected the sky and security guards who looked like they stepped out of a movie. The receptionist sounded rushed. "Our CEO's computer crashed. She has a board presentation in the morning. Can you come immediately?" Daniel almost laughed. People like that didn't call people like him, but work was work. He dropped Lily off at his neighbor, Mrs. Patel's apartment with a grateful smile and promised to bring back her favorite strawberry ice cream if he got paid on time. When Daniel stepped into the corporate tower, he felt invisible and exposed at the same time. His worn sneakers squeaked against marble floors. Employees in tailored suits passed him without eye contact. He was used to that. The receptionist led him to the top floor. "She's not in a good mood," she whispered. "Please, just fix it." Daniel nodded. Inside the corner office stood a woman by the window, arms crossed, staring at the city below. Her name was Victoria Hale, 39, CEO of Hale Innovations, featured in magazines, known for turning failing companies into billion-dollar empires. Sharp, disciplined, intimidating, she didn't turn around when he entered. "You're the technician." "Yes, ma'am," Daniel replied softly. "You have 2 hours." Her computer sat on a sleek white desk. Multiple monitors. Complicated setup. Daniel knelt down, plugging in his diagnostic tools. The machine wouldn't boot. Corrupted system files. Possible malware. It would take more than 2 hours, but he didn't say that. Victoria paced behind him, heels clicking sharply. "I have investors flying in from Singapore. If that presentation isn't ready, I'll do my best," Daniel said calmly. That was something about his voice that made her pause. It wasn't nervous. It wasn't desperate. It was steady. He worked quietly, fingers moving with precision. He lost track of time, focused entirely on lines of code and recovery commands. After about an hour, the main screen flickered back to life. "We're getting there," he murmured. Victoria stepped closer, and that's when it happened. As the desktop loaded, a photo filled the screen. It must have been set as wallpaper. A picture of Victoria herself, but not the version the world knew. Not the power suit. Not the sharp expression. This photo was different. She was sitting on a beach, barefoot, hair loose and tangled by the wind. No makeup. Soft smile. Eyes brighter than Daniel expected. There was a vulnerability in that picture, like it had been taken by someone who loved her. Daniel froze for half a second. He hadn't meant to look, but it was there. Impossible not to see. Victoria noticed his pause. Her voice came from behind him. Quieter now. "That's old." Daniel quickly looked back at the screen, embarrassed. "I'm sorry, ma'am. It just loaded automatically." There was silence. Then something unexpected. "Do you think I'm pretty?" The question hung in the air. Daniel thought he misheard. He slowly turned in his chair. Victoria wasn't standing tall anymore. Her arms weren't crossed. She looked uncertain. He hesitated. Not because he didn't know the answer, but because he understood the weight of the question. This wasn't a compliment. She wanted this was something else. He chose his words carefully. "In that picture," he said gently, "you look happy. And happiness makes anyone beautiful." Victoria's lips parted slightly. She wasn't used to that kind of answer. "That's not what I asked." Daniel swallowed. "Yes," he said honestly, "you are, but not because of the way you look. It's the way you seem when you forget you're being watched." The room felt different now. Victoria studied him. He wasn't flirting, wasn't trying to impress her. He looked sincere. "Most people tell me I look powerful," she said, intimidating, commanding. "Do you want to look powerful?" Daniel asked softly, "or do you want to feel seen?" That question hit harder than he expected. She turned away quickly, walking back toward the window. "Fix the computer," she said, but her voice lacked its earlier sharpness. Daniel returned to work. Within another hour, he managed to recover the presentation files and secure the system. He even optimized some background processes to prevent future crashes. "It's done," he said. Victoria returned to the desk. The slides loaded perfectly. "How much do I owe you?" He named a modest price, lower than what a corporate IT team would charge. She frowned. "That's it. That's fair." She studied him again. Noticed the worn cuffs of his jacket, the calluses on his hands. "You could have charged more." "I charge what I need," he replied simply. She transferred the payment immediately. As he packed his tools, she asked, "Why aren't you working somewhere better?" He paused. "Life," he said with a small smile. She didn't ask more, but as he reached the door, she surprised him again. "What's your name?" "Daniel." "Daniel," she repeated, as if testing how it sounded. "Thank you." He nodded and left. That night, as he brought strawberry ice cream home to Lily and listened to her excited story about spelling tests, he didn't think much about the CEO's question, but Victoria did. The next morning, she stood before investors and delivered her presentation flawlessly. The deal went through, millions secured. Yet, when she returned to her office, her eyes drifted to the beach photo. Do you want to look powerful, or do you want to feel seen? No one had asked her that before. Days passed, then weeks. One afternoon, Daniel received another call from the same corporate building. Ms. Hale specifically requested you. He blinked in confusion, this time, when he entered the office. Victoria greeted him with a slight smile. "There's nothing wrong with my computer," she admitted. He raised an eyebrow. "Then why am I here?" She gestured toward a second workstation in the corner. "I want to understand what you did." The security patches. My internal team said it was impressive." Daniel hesitated. "It was basic system restructuring." Not to them. She handed him a temporary access badge. "Show me." For the next hour, Daniel explained what he'd done. He spoke differently when talking about technology. More confident, passionate, alive. Victoria noticed. "You love this," she said. He shrugged. "I used to dream about building things that mattered." "What stopped you?" He thought of hospital bills, of empty cribs, of long nights alone, responsibility. She nodded slowly, then she did something that surprised even herself. "My company is launching a new internal software division," she said. "We need someone who understands systems from the ground up, someone who isn't afraid to get their hands dirty." Daniel stared at her. "Are you offering me a job?" "I'm offering you an interview," she corrected. "Don't make me regret it." Weeks later, Daniel walked into that same building not as a repair technician, but as a candidate. He aced every technical test, outperformed graduates from top universities, and when the board questioned his unconventional resume, Victoria simply said, "Talent doesn't disappear because life gets difficult." He got the job. The salary changed everything. Lily got her own room painted pink. Daniel replaced his old sneakers. But more importantly, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Pride. As months passed, Victoria and Daniel worked closely on projects. Their conversations shifted from business to books, from market strategies to childhood memories. One evening, long after employees had left, Victoria found herself staring at that beach photo again. Daniel walked in to drop off updated reports. "Still wondering?" he asked softly. She didn't pretend to misunderstand. "I've been called beautiful my whole life," she said, "but it always felt like an evaluation, like a performance review." He leaned against the desk. "You don't need permission to be beautiful." She looked at him, eyes softer than before. "And you," she said quietly, "don't need permission to dream." Somewhere between broken systems and board meetings, something changed. Not dramatic, not rushed. Just two people who saw each other without titles. One day, Victoria asked to meet Lily. Daniel was nervous, but when they met at a small park, Lily immediately took Victoria's hand and asked if she knew how to swing high without being scared. Victoria laughed, a sound Daniel hadn't heard in the office. "I think I'm still learning," she admitted. Lily grinned. "My daddy says brave people get scared too." Victoria looked at Daniel. "Smart girl," she said. Months later, during a company gala, Victoria stood on stage in a shimmering dress, cameras flashing. But instead of speaking about profits, she told a different story. "Sometimes," she said into the microphone, "it takes a broken computer to fix something else." The crowd chuckled politely, not understanding. But Daniel did. After the event, on a quiet balcony overlooking the city, she turned to him. "Am I pretty?" she asked again, half teasing, half serious. He smiled. "You're more than that." She stepped closer. "And you," she whispered, "are exactly where you're meant to be." Life didn't magically become perfect. Challenges came, disagreements happened. Balancing power and partnership wasn't easy, but they faced it honestly. And that old beach photo, it stayed, not as a reminder of insecurity, but as proof that even the strongest people sometimes need someone to see them without the spotlight. So if you ever feel like you're invisible, like your skills don't matter, like life took you off the path you planned, remember Daniel. Sometimes all it takes is doing your job with integrity. Sometimes all it takes is answering one unexpected question with honesty. And sometimes, the person asking, "Am I pretty?" isn't looking for beauty, they're looking for truth. And that truth can change everything. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because you never know which broken moment might be the start of something extraordinary.